Attention bowlers, I think we're gonna get started here. So folks, welcome to another impromptu 3-ball spare stream of PBA Pro Bowling 2026. Game is, I don't know, somewhere in between alpha, beta, and release. I've kind of lost track as of lately, so that's one of those things where it's not quite out yet, but there are some free play weekends coming up here, so that's going to be promising if you want to get your hands on the game. And particularly, the reason I'm playing the game today is to check out this. If you've checked out the other recent streams I've done, the game was kind of in an earlier state, more of like an alpha-E kind of situation, but now it's kind of getting closer to release. It's getting a little more exciting. So why not basically give it a road test, and I guess it's pretty fitting for Candlepin Worlds coming up here in about a week and some change to I don't know, put it through its paces and let's see what happens. See if we get some fun. So if you're familiar with the previous streams, this is sort of a character selection screen. Everyone in this character selection screen is effectively 10-pin oriented, so except for a couple which I played with a little bit during the career mode a while back. I made a character called Candlepin, like Candlepin, kind of, sort of a pun, sort of not. But I'm going to go with kind of the same strategy as previous streams, where I'm going to pick a lefty because in Candlepin I bowl off the wrong foot, which means I kind of bowl a little like a lefty in some cases. So to make it feel more at home, I'll pick a lefty out of here and we'll call it...
It's Matt Russo, one of the bright young lefties on tour.
Matt Russo, apparently. Alright, so they've made some adjustments to the Candlepin mode since I last played, which I think were for the better. I played offline a bit, and some of the physics have improved. They've improved the back wall situation where pins were bouncing back and forth in and out of the deck, which doesn't always happen in Candlepin because there's more of a veil back there, or a curtain. So that's been pushed farther back, so you don't see that as much. And the action overall has improved. Actually, I think even my average went up in this game quite a bit compared to the first two streams. So if you haven't played this game before, the general gist of it is it's not the most complicated control setup. You're using the left analog stick to move left and right here, laterally. You use the left and right triggers. That's ZL and ZR if you're a Nintendo person, or R2 or L1, L2 if you're a Sony person, or I forget what they're called on Xbox. I don't care. But so use those to change your tilt, your pivot here, and to start the sequence for the power and the thrust and the English, you start pulling back the right stick and you hold it like so, and you're given a little meter here. While you're holding the right stick like this, you can press left or right on the sticks to apply a spin either left or right. If I recall correctly, this is something in which the handedness of the bowler will adjust how much you can spin left or right. I picked a lefty, so it looks like a right side clockwise. What am I saying? A clockwise spin is going to be the more actionable spin as opposed to a counterclockwise spin here. You can hold left or right if you want to make your choice on that. Previously, I didn't find this to really make a big impact on the throw, but it is there. Maybe it's more of a thing in 10-pin or possibly duck-pin. But in Candlepin, I don't know, it's here. And you'll notice a circle going within several other circles. The idea is to to flick the right stick forward when the circle is at or near the blue circle. Circles. It's a game of circles. Candlepin is apparently a game of circles when it's electronic. So anyways, we have our aim set. We have our meter set. I'm not going to do any English on this first ball. Let's try to line up. And it will grade you based on how well you are able to line up with that. All right. So that first ball was a 9-drop, leaving all but the 7-pin. Look at that shot. And like I said, the physics have greatly improved this time for Candlepin. Pausing for one moment. Get rid of a little spammy, weird spam comment in the comments there. Sorry. Hello, Strikester619. Yeah, I know. It hasn't showed up yet on Xbox or consoles. This is the PC version. The testing is only PC as far as I understand, or at least it was as of the last time I checked their Discord. It will show up on consoles once that's all taken care of. And oh my goodness, I missed a single. Just like in real life. By inches, by planks. This is just like last night at Lakeside. Oh my god. I threw a 350 at Lakeside last night actually, so I'm not complaining a whole lot. And this one just rides the rail into the gutter, leaves the 7 on the deck. There is commentary in this game. For the purposes of the stream, I turned it off just because I found it was like a little bit too chatty, and the commentary settings don't appear to be all that much verbose. Like, you can either have it on or off and pick your volume. I've adjusted some volume values this time because I know in the last streams I think it was a little unbalanced and a little loud. So I hope I have this balanced a little bit better this time around. If not, yell at me. Sorry. So let's do some more bowling and see where we go from here. Like I said, I really like the physics of the first ball a whole lot better than in previous builds. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. Like, that's a headpin shot. Drops 7, 3, 9, 10. I had a shot like this last night, except the 6-pin was also standing, and I missed it wide left somehow. That could have been my 3rd mark in a row for something greater than a 120. But there's a spare. Punch right through. Full shot in the 10. There's a spare. All right, so we are 19 after 2 in a bonus. Let's do the huck and chuck. Shot, and nearly a strike. Slightly weird physics there, but I'm not too worried. They also added some better sound effects for the pins. Some of them are great sounding, some of them are a little interesting. I did leave feedback on that. I said, kind of the initial impact kind of sounds more like some kind of glass bottles clinking together, but there are a few shot sound effects that are like literally identical to Candlepin noise. And there's a single pin spare. Got it that time. That's looking good. So 2 marks in a row. I think we're at 38 in a bonus after 3. And let's try it again, shall we? And there's a strikeout spare. Nice shot there. I like that one. Decisive, not the fastest, but pretty great. I threw a faster strike than that last night at Lakeside. 10-pin fell last. Look at that go. They did also, you'll notice down on the decks, they changed the material of the decks. Before, in the previous build, it was all wood from start to finish, like on a synthetic lanes. But here, they listened to mica, and they actually changed the end to be more of a black metal kind of strip down there. I don't know if that means anything in terms of the game, or if it's just cosmetic, but it feels better. It's scientific, like, I think this looks and feels better kind of situation. There's a 4-fill so far. Missed the headpin to the left. 1, 3, 6, 4, 7, 8. And it's a small pool of games, but I will say this is definitely the best Candlepin video game I've ever played. Out of 3, it's a small list. It's I think the first one was a long time ago. There was this interesting Facebook game called FB Candlepin Bowling, and it had an iOS app for maybe like a month, and then all of it got like pulled, and I don't know, it was like never seen again. I think the page is still up, but it's basically abandoned. And I don't think the game exists anymore, and it was a very bare bones, like maybe Unity or Unreal Engine kind of game. And it was fine, if you have, it's like a cold glass of water in the desert, fine. But it wasn't around for very long. It's gone now. And then the second game I found was Knock 'em Down Bowling on the Switch, and that was a pretty good one. But the physics were a little off. It kind of had a lot of the problems that this game had in the very early stages, and it's like it exists, and the controls are also very strange on the Switch. It's like they're not really super conventional. They're like just a little bit complicated. That was nearly a 7-10 split on the first ball, but the 10 falls, so it's another single pin spare for Mr. Matt Russo. He's got a 73 half. That's not bad. Piece of lateral wood down there. Just curious if there is... No, that button does nothing. Okay. I noticed there's a new option on the screen here for an oil pattern, but it appears to be inactive for Candlepin, which makes sense, but it's just interesting that the visual indicator is still there. All right, let's shoot the single. Hopefully it goes well. It did. That's a spare. Fourth mark in this game. It's 83 and a bonus in the 6th. I wish actual Candlepin was this easy sometimes. All right, so we'll shoot for the head pin and hope for the best. Good shot. Fill greater than 5, 4-7. And I will add a big asterisk to some of the visuals of this game. I have the graphics settings turned down a fair amount on my PC here. The game looks a whole lot better when you really jack up the graphics and stuff. I have it on medium because I wanted to prioritize largely a smooth frame rate and fewer frame drops. That's a preference of mine. Oh, it's just the 7 and a 4-7 shot. A little too full in the 4. My preference is I'd rather the motion be perfectly smooth as opposed to everything looking, pristine. I'm that kind of graphics person. I'm like performance over looks. But the 10 line single, this phantom 4-pin shot probably would have been a spare if it was on the pocket of that. If the 4-pin was still standing. That's 107. That is a borderline Kevin Davis average. Maybe a little better. His pace, and maybe it will. There's a strike. By Matt Russo. That's 110 and a bonus in the 8th. And by bonus, I mean a strike fill. All right, so let's fire on the strike fill. Oddly thin shot on the head pin. It's a castle left, setback left, 4-5-7. No wood. Oh, that's going to be gnarly. As far as I understand, there are still no zoom controls, so you can't really look down the lane all that much. Oh, and I forgot, left bumper, R bumper, or the L and R buttons on a Nintendo system, or LB and RB is also on the Xbox, L1, R1 on the PlayStation. That will adjust your power, how fast or slow the ball goes down the lane. And I tend to forget about that. All right, left side castle shot. I'm just going to pick sticks. I picked the 4 and the 7. I'm leaving the 5. Yeah, you see that pin, how it shot way back, that metal horizontal rod thing that used to be way closer to the pins is now way farther back, so it won't bounce back into the deck. I like that. That's a fair compromise, I'd say. Okay, so end of the game. Oh, and a right side castle this time on the head pin. 5-6-10. There is wood though this time, so maybe it can go. Look at that. Yeah, that's a punch shot. And, yep, you'll get that in Candlepin sometimes. Much better with wood, though. This is a situation where I really wish there was a zoom control, though, because it would be cool to kind of examine the wood down there. But, nope. I'm just going to have to use my eyes to look at some small pixels. So, in real life, I'll give you the real-life analysis followed by the game analysis. In real life, I would probably shoot for likely the left side of the wood to kind of caress the wood to the right off the sidewall to take the 6 and the 10. The ball might be left enough to take the 5. We'll try if that. We'll see if that same physics works here. And I'm thinking a straight shot right on it. Let's up and spin. Oh yeah, that's actually a fairly. I liked that. That was pretty realistic. Because yeah, look at that pin taking a spin. Actually kind of gathered some aerial range there. That's a little less realistic. Otherwise, again, I'm saying the physics are a little bit much better than they were in the alpha. So there's a 10 box. Nice shot on the castle there. And a 139 opener for Matt Russo. That's not bad. Average spare conversion percentage is just kind of funny. So that's pretty good. All right. Let's,
Matt Russo steps into the spotlight, young, fearless, and technically sharp. He's part of the new wave of talent pushing the game forward. Russo's ceiling is sky high.
I guess so, except he's inside a building, so it's probably only about maybe 13 feet. But, technicalities. Matt Russo. You know what? Actually, let's just try messing with this a bit. Pull the power down to maybe. Actually, speaking of that percentage meter is something. So, completely full, it's 100, and you actually have to pull it left a little bit for it to actually kind of go below the visual threshold, so the meter actually appears to go beyond what's actually visible on the screen. And if you pull it all the way down, the power meter kind of goes all the way down to 75, and it seems to extend beyond the visual indicator. That's interesting. Okay, so just be warned that the middle is not 50%. It's like 80-something and some change in the mid-80s. So what if we decided to, I don't know, set the power as low as we can, aim left as much as we can, and then full English, and then on the circle. What does this do? Barely anything. Okay, I guess that answers my question on if that meter is even a factor, because that was the least power you could possibly apply with a near full spin, and a decent release on the circle. Okay, so that's good to know. The power meter does seem to have an impact, but don't bother really with the English, I guess, in Candlepin mode. Alright, well, for that experiment, let's just try to get out of this box. 139 for a 10. 7-box guarantee. There's 10 bucks. I wish shots like that would go that easily in real life to get the sleeper pin in the back, but it doesn't always happen that way. That looks good, that 9-pin getting kicked right back. Alright, so let's just do a regular ball. That results in the 359. 7 drop. That is the 3 diamond minus the 6. Up the power a little bit, and let's let it fly. Spare. We got that spared in the bank. Not Russo. It's looking good. So this will be for the spare shot. Thin hit, weird thin hit. It is a fill of 8. And guess what's down there? It is, people under 30 will understand this probably. It's the 6-7. 6-7. Oh, and that, well, it was the 6-7. The 7-pin decided to fall very late beyond the replay. That is a bug that was present in alpha. It is still a present bug now. Okay, well, there's a spare. Technically was a 9 fill, incorrectly applied as an 8, incorrectly applied as a split. And here's a spare on the 6-pin for, what's the score? 38 and a bonus after 3. So yeah, that's something I think both Micah and I have reported, where late falling pins seem to be put into this suspended animation during the replay, and they can continue to wiggle post-replay and continue to fall post-replay. And like Cubic AMF automatic scoring, that means sometimes the scoring can get a little wrong. It would be cool if there was like a score correct feature in this game. I know it's like supposed to be automatic and all that, but in Candlepin it's cool to just have maybe a bit of a manual stick shift on that every now and then, in case that happens. Maybe it can be like challenge flags in the NFL where you only get 3 score corrections a game, so it's not abused. But I don't know, just thoughts, mental notes, note to self. Let's maybe put that in their suggestions later on. Looking at that plank meter, and it's very interesting. It's like a delayed like fade effect on the meter. It's like, it's almost like the numbers overlap for like a couple of milliseconds too many, and it's like sort of that Majora's Mask blur effect going on, like the N64 expansion pack thing. Anyways, tangents aside, looks like a 7-3-4-10 split. 7 drop, 3-4-10 split. Power is middling, release was garbage into the ocean. Alright, let's just try to get out of here with some, not egg on our face, but that's going to be a 7-box after 2 missed shots. Alright, 52 and 4. Wired on the 1-3 and a 5-7-10 split, the Matt Susi special, the Woolworth split. That is harder to get than the high-low jack, especially without wood. Yikes. There's going to be a little bit of wood down there, but maybe capping the right side could cause some action to occur, but we'll find out. I don't know, we'll maybe set ourselves at plank 27 and hope for the best. Oh, alright. Missing it entirely. Now it's just time to pick some sticks, maybe 2 out of 3 if I can. Welcome to Lakeside. That piece of wood avoids the 5, the 7, and the 10. Another 7 split left on the table after 2 balls. That's 59 after 5. So some of this is like Candlepin. Oh, there's a strike there, by the way. Where probably for different physical reasons, but you get some rip-off shots in this game that seem to mathematically kind of equate out to like how it happens in Candlepin. It's like you can keep pounding the pocket and you'll just get different results. It's like the definition of insanity, but actually applied. Where we're not insane, we're just Candlepin bowlers. So that's a strike for Matt Russo. Missing a little bit. 1-7-10, 3-6. 5 fills so far. Second ball completes the strike fill. Let's go for it. 3 pocket. 10 pin left. Piece of wood in the center. Spinning. Still. And the way it was spinning, that's a that was something I observed and reported because I saw a worse situation like that where you'll notice it wasn't laying flat on the deck. It was almost like raised on one side. And I almost think the way that looks to me, actually it's a little better in that angle, but when it was spinning it was a little more visual. I think these pins are coded like 10 pins, like the physical shape of a 10 pin is still in its like invisible frame data or wireframe data, but I think they're physically shaped to be Candlepin, and that means sometimes when they spin, especially in the air, they spin like 10 pins where it's like weighted on the bottom and not weighted on the top, or perhaps duck pins. I think they just turned a lot of like attributes down on that, but I think there's still 10 pins behind the scenes or something. That's my guess. I don't know. That is something I kind of put in there. There's a 7 drop. That's a 2-4-10 for Matt Russo. Piece of wood with the cap facing us across the 2-4. That's going to make the shot difficult. Maybe. Oh, but maybe not. That's why I said maybe. For despair. A nice full shot. And what the heck is this? Okay, well you can't see this on stream, but just got a weird error message here. Line C++ runtime library. Oh, that's funny. Did the game just crash on me? I'm not sharing the screen directly, but actually maybe I can. Give me see if I can work my OBS real quick. I'll drag the error over. Well, that was something. That's well, that's more of a Linux troubleshooting thing. Running the game through Steam, through the Proton compatibility layer on Linux Mint, and I don't know what that necessarily entails, and I don't know if that's a recoverable error or not, but let's find out if clicking OK kills the game off. It's frozen. Okay. And I got the official not responding. Hooray! Okay, well that's fun. So stand by for interesting troubleshooting situations. And it's really hosed, isn't it? Okay, well, hey, you know, there's no such thing as a perfect broadcast, and the game is not final yet, so cool. Let's relaunch and figure that out, if I can even close this dang thing right now. This thing is like hard locked. Anybody know any jokes? Anyone got any games on their phone? I'm just trying to get this dang thing to snap out of it. There we go. Apparently closing Steam will fix it, so we'll get back to that in a second. Well, I have you, though. So, yes, just in about a week and some change time, we have the ICC International Men's Candlepin Worlds Conference in Moncton, New Brunswick at the Fairlanes. and I am representing Team Massholes, and we have some raffle tickets for you if you are interested. The Massholes are a team that we've had multiple homes over the years. I joined the Massholes last year, and it was the first time in team history that we joined, or that we made the Maria's subs in the qualifying round, and that was a great moment. Sorry, I'm just stalling for time while I get the game back up here. But anyways, so we got some raffle tickets. The proceeds will support the team. I'll just be upfront about that. Throughout a lot of strings and games and matches all week, and even more settings. Not settings. Sorry, I'm reading and talking. Even more bowling if we make the playoffs. So, if you are interested in raffle tickets, info is on your screen. There's also info in the description. It's largely via Venmo if we're going to do this digitally. I don't have Cash App or nothing else, sorry. But if you find me physically also, I'm happy to just do plain old traditional cash with you, and I'll have the physical raffle tickets as well. So it's 1 ticket $5, 3 tickets $10, 5 tickets $20. I just need your info so I can physically write it on the card, so when I go to put the cards in the big basket of raffle stuff at the actual event, your info will be on the tickets, and you can get paid if you get drawn. Look at all those prizes on the screen, too. It's a lot of money if you get drawn, so not only will you be supporting your favorite team, the Massholes of Batwells and Concord, it'll also be potential money for you. So, anyways, I think the game has kind of largely recovered here, and let's see where we go from here. We're probably just going to have to start a new game, drat, because that was not a bad game that we had going, but oh well, we had to pause for lane maintenance, I suppose. This menu is interesting. It's squirrely in terms of its behavior. It's kind of like I don't quite understand what is the logic around it, because like sometimes it lets you select options and sometimes it lets you skip them, but you kind of need all the objects selected to proceed. So let's pick a different menu. Some of these menus I remember had some issues with performance, like the frame rate was not so great on some of these, and I don't remember which ones now. All right, I'm going to pick a lefty again for the sake of...
Packy Hanrahan steps up, and this guy has been climbing fast. His passion and intensity are infectious, and he feeds off the crowd's energy. Packy brings a punch every time he takes the lanes.
Look at Packy feeding off the crowd energy. All right, so the FPS on this is good. That's kind of cool. They have the actual cameras on the left and right sides of the lanes, kind of like in an actual televised PBA event. They put their cameras a little bit further back than I do for ACST matches, but they also have better cameras than me. All right, let's get back to the new game. Would have been nice to finish the last one, but, you know, software prevented that. That is a 6-drop and a split. That is, what do I like to call that? The JavaScript comments, the HTML comments, 2 forward slashes, or the HTTP ://. I don't know. What do you think this shot should be called? Let me know in the comments. Take 2 and leave 2 because, yeah, I probably could have played a better angle of that wood, but shot first and ask questions later. Here's a $10. Then the one for Packy. That's 4-2. Much better ball. Everything but the 4 is knocked down. Yeah, it's a Packy from Mass. Sounds like it, right? His favorite place to get his Alka Maboozes is Bunghole Liquors in Peabody, Massachusetts. Or is it Salem? Or Beverly? I don't know. One of those 3. I think it's Peabody, actually. There's a spare for Packy. Leaves the 4-7. Those are interesting animations. And I wouldn't get mad at that, Packy. Are you kidding me? An 8-drop like that with a spare leave? With a With a bowler with your skill, you should be happy about that. That's a gimme. Bad reaction. Now bad reaction. See, now that's a little more warranted. His arm kind of moves like a noodle. And it's not necessary. It's just a pick off of the 7, leaving the 4. Look at that. All right, let's fire on the headpin. 1-3. Check mark left in the 10. 2, 4, 7, 10. Unless the 4 and the 3 fall later, way later. Again, that's a physics bug that should really work out. They should either hold for the replay or hold the scoring, something like that. So it's now a 7-drop split, 5, 7, 10. Woolworth split, Matt Susi special. And I guess we'll play the wood. The right side of the wood. Oh, there we go. There was a nice example of that weirdness where you saw the one end of the pin kind of almost getting held up by a string. Yeah, see that? That doesn't happen in Candlepin. That's a physics thing in this game. Not perfect, but I guess the impact was still largely acceptable. That pin is not so good in play. I forget if they implemented the system where pins will be removed if they roll out of play or not. I know we were talking about that on their Discord. I don't know if they implemented it. At least the reset gate no longer comes down after every ball, so that's always nice. Okay, let's go. There's a strike. 7 of them fell last. That was a nice pocket shot. Bam, 1-2 pocket. Largely the work of the pins and not the ball. The ball got out of dodge really quick on the left side while not doing a whole lot aside from hitting the 1-2 pocket. For the double, 1 pocket, 3 pocket this time, 6 drop, 2, 4, 5, 10. Yikes, and there it goes. All right, so 2, 4, 5, 10, that's the left side triangle and the 10. 2 go down, 2 stay up, 4, 10. That is the inverse of the 6, 7. This will be for a 10 box. Shoot to the left of the 4. I hope you kick to the 10. That's a consequence of if you don't line up the circles when you throw, because it adds some entropy, some randomness to the throw. And that was a sail off to the right. I mean, that's not unlike real life, where if you're shooting out of single pin, sometimes you just, things just don't go the way you want them to go. All right, here we go. That was a strike ball just a few boxes ago. It's now an 8 drop, 4, 7. That wood is going to make it tough. Let's see if this place plays like Lakeside or if it plays like Millis. And it will play like Lakeside. Complete deflection. Complete disappointment. It's like what, Lakeside or Wakefield? Look at that. Clean shot. Results in a 10 box. That's a Paul Grant special. Missed a second and third. $1 donation to Candlepins for cancer per occurrence. $5 if on a fill. All right. So that's 75 and 7 for Mr. Packy. And that was an interesting drop. It's a Caleri after an extra sleeper falls. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. Let's clean up that Caleri or not. Okay, 1, 2 go down. 4, 7, 9. Let's just try to get pins here. Every pin. Leave the 9. Wow, that was interesting. That pin just flew way out of play. No, we're not at church, Todd. I think you just heard my hourly chime script that I wrote. That's on. Again, we're on my PC. And I wrote a little program that every hour, you know how you, like physical grandfather clocks or clock towers and stuff? I wrote a program that will play a chime every hour, and I also have optional settings for, like, you can have a ticking, like a second hand. You can have a 30-minute chime. You can have a 15-minute chime if you want. And the sound you heard is actually the Westminster chimes at Thompson Hall at the University of New Hampshire in Durham. I recorded that myself. I stood under the tower when it played one day, and the actual hour chimes, though, is from a different clock that has been in the family for a while. And I have the program set so you can mix and match them if you want. And every once in a while I change that. So yeah, that was at 10 o'clock a.m. was when that went off last. It's currently 10:04. 3 drop, back left corner, the Candlepin corner for Packy. Straight at it, leaving 1 and the 2. This game does have a free play weekend coming up. If it isn't already active, there's a $10 for Mr. Packy. One second, let me see if I can't pull up that information on the announcements, because it was a free weekend and then they extended it to being a week. Let me see. And let me tell you, I love Discord when I can't find anything, or if it's like something you saw once and then can never find again. All right. So what did they say? They said officially, our demo build is still waiting on approval from Steam, and unfortunately that means we'll likely need to delay the start of the Open Play demo weekend. The good news, to make up for the delay, we're extending the event to a full week instead of just a weekend. As soon as Steam gives them the green light, they're going to open the demo immediately. It'll remain playable until Monday, November 3rd, 2025 at 1 p.m. For transparency, the demo's been in Steam's review queue for over a week. It usually takes 3 days or less, so I don't know, something's happening there. But yeah. So you might want to check out their Discord, which is in the description if you want info on how to get in on that. Their page on Steam might also have testing information as well if they're opening it up like that. For the alpha, you had to join the Discord and talk to somebody. For the open play period, it might just be on Steam. So we'll see. Here's the 4-6 goalposts for the first ball. Second ball fires on the 4. Leaves the 6. Mr. Packy shooting for a $10. Oh, the ball just slightly misses the 6 by planks. And that will be a $9 for Mr. Packy. It's a 103, some rough goings there. But let's maybe change it up a bit now. Still Candlepin, of course. Game difficulty again, I'm not really sure what that means or if it means anything in quick play. Let's I like the World Series of Bowling venue. We'll try the PBA playoffs to read. I forget which one of these causes frame rate drops. We'll back out if it does. Where's my other lefty? There's a couple other lefties. Let's do Jacob Buttroff.
Here comes Jacob Buttroff, and if that release looks you...
Okay, this one... Okay, the performance is a little worse. The FPS is a little lower. But it's not bad. I think it's better than it was before in the alpha. It's those glow effects down there that are a little... That lighting is strange. That would be hella distracting to me if I was bowling in something like this, but whatever. 6 drop leave, and the 2 and the 9, 2 and the 8 are left. This will be for $10. First shot, 8-pin was hit, but nothing doing. You know what's really funny to me? Those audience members that are seated directly behind the pins. Those are easily the best seats in the house right there. Nothing like looking at a wall. I would assume there's probably a TV back there, but at the same time, if it were Candlepin, there's got to be a lot of machinery back there, right? So, yeah, those must be like 50-cent seats or something. Headpin shot, 5-7-8 leave. 5-7-8, the 5 goes, the 8 goes, the 7 hangs around. Let's just shoot for this. I think if anything, this game kind of, while the physics may not be identical, and obviously playing with a controller is not, you know, bowling cognitively IRL, it's kind of a game that can kind of help you in terms of understanding the importance of bowling for angles at Candlepin. Like you'll notice I'm largely positioning the ball and throwing kind of like I do in real life. my current bowling style, although it is always subject to change, is I start from the right corner and kind of go inwards. Wow, that 9-pin was interesting on its movement there. So that's the 2, 5, and the 7. One thing that I kind of would hope this game would have, but there appears to be absolutely no settings or even implementation for it, is starting where you start on the approach, like how close or far away you are from the foul line. That might be a little bit strange when you're into the game, but I know in Candlepin that matters a lot. I know in a recent ACST match with Jeff Little and Paul Mativier at Lakeside, Jeff was saying mid-match, he was watching the stream of the match, and Charlie Collins messaged Jeff Little and told him, they told him to take a step backwards or forwards. I forget which one it was. But once he did, Jeff Little was kind of lights out from there. So that matters a lot in Candlepin. So I don't know if that means a whole lot in 10-pin, but in Candlepin it definitely means quite a bit. Come on, backdoor. Not quite. The 3-pin stays. We saw a pin roll way out of play. Oh, that pin is out of play entirely. It's not even in the light. Can't tell if it's still rolling exactly, but yeah, that's that pin is not in play and it was not removed. Okay, that's good to know that that's not exactly a thing. Not like it matters. We're not going to shoot at it. Sorry for a spare. Oh, we got that spare. That's 48 and a bonus after 4. I'm not going to lie, that's basically kind of average-ish for me, so I guess there's something to be said about the authenticity of the score. There's a 7 fill, 4-5-7. And oh boy. Well, the second shot's the trick shot. I guess we'll play the wood on the right side and see if we can get a sweep. I made a version of this shot last night at Lakeside, but the wood was right on the 5 and diagonal in perfect positioning, and I got a sweep left, and that was a great spare. And I can almost replicate it here, but the 7-pin just wasn't in range of the wood. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, you want to get a sweep, and I guess I wouldn't have played it much differently except for maybe some angles, but good try. We'll get out of it with a 10 box. That's 65. That's a 65 half. That's still not bad. Last night I threw a 350 at Lakeside. First time in a little while I've gone 350 or higher. Feeling good for Worlds because I know for a couple weeks there I was kind of dropping a little bit in terms of numbers and stuff, and I was like, what's happening here? But I don't know. Sometimes it's just literally just the composure of nature or the alignment of the planets. So hopefully that holds for Moncton. And the 7-pin is the only pin left after a 9 drop. It's fine for the spare, and it's good for the spare. Speaking of Moncton and Worlds once again, so yes, November 3rd through, 7th or 8th, kind of depending on how things go, we'll be covering Worlds IRL at Moncton on 3-ball spare here. My team is the Massholes, so sorry for the bias, but we're going to be focusing on the Massholes throughout the week. Won't be a super fancy stream. I'll just have an iPad on me, and we'll just set it up where we can set it up at Fairlanes and Moncton the best we can, because Worlds is really tough to catch. If you're new to Worlds, or if you haven't been to Worlds before, or haven't watched Worlds before, or you've only watched it on streams, probably the bits you don't see is just how it's always wall-to-wall people inside. It's a little overwhelming on the outside. There's a nice spare, 2-7. But we can probably, I at least have like a decent portable, space-efficient tripod I can put an iPad on to at least stream some matches. And assuming the Wi-Fi is good, I'm going to hope it is, we'll have that going as much as we can. It's 3 matches a day, and there's no buys as far as I know, unless you're in the playoffs and you seed high enough. But there'll be 3 matches a day from Tuesday to Friday. Monday is a singles knockout tournament, which, barring no disasters, I do plan on doing. So, and I'll try to stream that too. It just won't be a team thing. It's just a singles thing. I was talking with Chris Bover last night, and because I've never been to Moncton for Worlds, and it's been 19 years since I've been to Canada. Yeah, spare on spare. And what Bover was telling me was he said he expects the singles knockout tournament to particularly probably deal in Canadian dollars, I think, for both payment and payout. So I guess, because I was asking, I was like, what should I be prepared for, USD or CAD? And I guess the answer is to prepare for CAD. And one big tip from Chris Bover is if you want to exchange money, there's a casino across the street or nearby the bowling alley, and apparently he says that's the place to go if you want to get a decent exchange rate or exchange money or whatnot. So some pro tips for any Worlds bowlers watching. You can go find Chris Bover if any info isn't accurate. Should be fun. I know for Worlds in particular, I'm just more sweating the drive. It's just a lot of driving. It's like 7 to 8 hours. It's a lot of time in the car. But once we're up there, it should be a fun time. I'm going to go up on November 1st. Hopefully it goes well. Get up there, get acclimated. There's a slight time zone adjustment. I think they are +1 on the hours. It's not like going to Europe where it's like +5 hours. It's just a +1. And Moncton is basically Maine plus on the map if you're not sure where it is. It's like, imagine going to northeast Maine and you just keep going for a while. Like 2 hours past the border or so. Lots of parking at Moncton in the Fair Lanes. Shares a huge parking lot with McDonald's, Burger King, businesses. There's a TD Bank right to the right of it, or the Canadian version of TD Bank. I forget what it was called. There's lots of great street views, both on Apple and Google Maps, of the area. Kind of a big intersection before the central bit there. Said there's hotels, casinos, and stuff. Got an Airbnb all lined up. Be going up with Tyler Rice in the car. We're still figuring out car stuff. I've gotten a couple messages from some people wondering what we want to do when we get up there, or what the plans are for the day. So it's going to be exciting. It gets more exciting as you get close, because I know, like, initially you're just kind of like, what's going on here? Are we going to be... like, is anyone going up? It's like, no, it's a real thing. It feels more real as we get close. Anyway, Jacob Buttroff, 135. That's not a bad shot. Or not a bad string, I mean. Tyler Rice, a new member of our team.
So, you think you've got what it takes to be a pro on the PBA Tour?
Oh, he's missing his torso.
I used to be a pro myself.
Oh my god, where's the torso? Well, that's hilarious. I didn't mean to end up in this screen, but yeah, here's the head and the arms of Candlepin, and the legs, I guess. I didn't mean to click that. I meant to click quick play. But yeah, Tyler Rice is saying he's reasonably confident that he can apparently bowl 120 or 130. And I did stream one of his matches recently. You can check that out here on this channel on YouTube. And he did bowl quite well, so maybe, I don't know, let's see if he can talk the talk, and I hope he does, because hey, I am perfectly willing to sit on the bench for someone who can average 130 consistently. Because I know I certainly can't. I can every once in a while get up there, but consistently doing it, that's next level kind of stuff. All right, so we're in between games. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. We'll play a few more before we call it good. Tomorrow morning, I'll be at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I want to say 11 o'clock, just off of memory. We'll be streaming Anthony Leonardi taking on Terry Churnbutter. Actually, flip that around. Terry Ballard and Anthony Leonardi. I mean, they both bowl out of Academy, but just for formality's sake, Anthony Leonardi is the home bowler for that particular match. Kicking that off around 11 a.m. Terry Ballard's excited for that one. Him and Anthony Leonardi bowl in the same league, and I guess they have some kind of rivalry. I don't know. Maybe he's just joking, but he was just...
Watch out for Jesper Svensson, that rev rate, that angle.
First time covering Anthony Leonardi this season. I mean, Terry Ballard this season. And Anthony Leonardi is a regular character on the stream. I've streamed him many times. All right, so we've picked Jesper Svensson. I think that was how we pronounce his name. I missed the announcement on that. Right. 3 pocket. There's a strike for Mr. JS. Starting out strong with a strike. For the double and a 6 drop. Yikes. 2, 4, 5, 10. So we get a little side kick and we get a little stuffed. Like in basketball. 5, 10 left on the deck. Oh, and a shot straight back. 5, 10. That's it. An 8 box. 26 after 2. Started on a strike fill. Starting on a strike bid. Ooh, and spinny piece of wood comes to take the 10. Spins a little oddly. Again, we talked about that weird physics issue before. Spinning seemed right, just the oh, and then welcome to Lakeside. Deflection. Some might think that's not a correct way for the pins to behave, but actually, in real life, that does happen in some places. There's a 10 box, misses second at the third, a frustrating out, what could have been. Mariano at Lakeside was getting some shots like that last night. He was getting all kinds of heated about that, and we were just kind of like, yeah, we're right there with you. There was a good drop and an easy spare. But they played nice that time. But yes, overall, this game is feeling pretty good. This is going to be a great game to just kind of kick back and just, if you got some time to kill and just want to throw some games at Candlepin, or maybe if you're at... I think the funny thing would be, like, if this game was actually played on, like, TVs at actual Candlepin alleys, like, if it's something you could do while waiting for a lane or something. That would be funny. Alright, let's go for 10 box. Didn't even remember how many balls I threw. That's 58 after 5. That's not a bad half at all. Pocket shot and a strike. Yeah, see, that's something I noticed since the alpha. A lot of pocket shots are much more likely to be strikes now, which is good because I think in the alpha it was a little bit almost too cruel about that sometimes. I mean, Candlepin is a cruel game, but come on, we can make it a little bit fun from time to time. Make it like there should be settings toggles be like Millis mode or Wakefield mode, or maybe something in the middle like what Lita was like. It would be cool if they could implement like a league mode or something. There's a nice spare on the 6-pack left though. That was a nice one. Look at that. 6-pack spare. Like that wood. 5-pin fell last. 88 and a bonus in the 7th. And just a hair off of the head pin to the right. 4 horsemen left side plus the 6. 1, 2, 4, 7, 6. And spare that up. Oh, and a 7. 7 is touched, but doesn't go down. Let's fire for 10. We got it. Pretty sure that stayed on. I had one situation where I think I either didn't foul or did foul and it called the wrong thing. And that happened in the alpha. I guess that's going to happen from time to time. It was like detection of where the gutter was in particular. But it's been a couple builds since then, so maybe there's a 5 drop. Almost 6-pack, but 1 sleeper is missing. It's a 5-pack. Someone stole a can in the box, but let's spare that up. Let's get that crap out of here. That's 113 and 9 plus a ball. Pocket shot. It's going to be a good fill. Rolls right up to the 2-4 for an 8 fill. Let's spare this. Would be a great one. Yeah. Oh yeah, that physics motion of that pin right there. That's the thing I'm talking about. Glad I can kind of express that visually. Yeah, you see that? That's a little bit jank. All right, that's 131 and a bonus in the 10th. This would be a great game to throw. Screwed up the throw a little bit. 136. And that's a 7 fill for a 138. All right, that's good stuff. All right, we'll do probably one more before we wrap this up today. Reroll. Before we wrap this up today. Thank you for watching. If you just clicked onto this out of curiosity, thank you for checking it out. I'm Steve Kelly with 3-Ball Spare. If you're not familiar with this channel, don't usually do video game content. This is kind of a bonus because it has a Candlepin mode. And you got IRL Candlepin content.
It's
And,
Parker Bone
this
III,
weekend,
classic lefty style, legendary.
Parker Bone. And we'll do the underwater venue to be fun. But yes, this weekend I'm streaming 3 matches, 1 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. It's going to be Anthony Leonardi and Terry Churn-Butter tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to start in the morning with a doubleheader at Academy. It'll be Face Sawyer, Greg Vellante, and oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on the second matchup. Devin Cloyd and John Cadero. That's the second matchup. And then in the afternoon we'll have Devin Cloyd once again taking on Caitlin Zilko at Lakeside Lanes. So it's going to be a lot of streaming coming up, so you'll see some IRL Candlepin action real soon here. Alright, let's do some underwater Candlepin bowling. Dropping 6. Parker Bone. That's actually a name I do recognize in the 10-pin world. I remember probably in the 90s. I think he was on TV a lot. Which tracks because that was about 30-ish years ago, and he said he was in his 60s now, so I guess that makes complete and total sense. Because I remember as a kid, I was like, this dude was definitely younger back then, and turns out 30 years ages you 30 years, so. The maths. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's take a open shot and leave the 6. The inverse lemon drop. Now you need to lemon drop to spare. You do get that inverse lemon drop spare for Parker Bone. 19 in a bonus after 2. Pocket shot, 7 drop, 5, 10, 3. And that is a doozy of a shot, kind of. Not really. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Let's spare this up, unless we send the ball through the hole and cap the wood. Famous last words. Commentator's juice. And the commentator's also the bowler. 10 pins left for 9 box. 35 and 3. Slide to the left. Slide to the left. 1, 3, 9, 10. And wow, that was actually, I want to watch that replay again. I got an extra pin I wasn't expecting to get. Was that a bounce back? Let's see. Bounce. Maybe. No, just some action in the backfield. Don't know if that would be entirely realistic in real life, because there's more of a generous pit back there in this game than there is in real life, so I don't know. Yeah, I guess I can't ask for perfection. That's 45 after 4. That was, like the game said, okay timing and bad release on my part on the right stick release. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9 for Parker Bone. Let's clean that mess up. Almost for a spare, but the 7-pin stays. And yoink, there's a 10. 55 after 5 for Parker Bone. Two back, there's a strike. Let's get cooking in the second half here. Let's get it started up. There's a strike, 65 and a bonus. I think what's really cool in this game is kind of helping me in real life, or giving me some advice, is the way this game measures the planks down there on this indicator. Because it really kind of, especially in Candlepin, that really does matter quite a bit. Like, I guess there's 39 individual wood planks on this particular lane. Whether or not that's the same number in real life or whatever is kind of irrelevant, but it just makes you think. Like, think of the planks. Like, you can look at the lines and the arrows, but the planks also matter, because in Candlepin you can miss pins by literal planks. Or by inches, millimeters, centimeters, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. So things this game can actually teach you, just based on the way it presents the aiming reticles and all that. Tough going there for Parker Bone, just chopping wood, working box. Nice 10 box. Nice 10 out of you, Parker Bone. That's 92 and 8. 1-2 pocket. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 4-5-6-3. Not unlike an actual IRL shot that one of my teammates got last night. He was on the pocket. He dropped 4 and took like 4 random pins out in the front and middle rows, and it like just made no sense at all. It's like one of those shots where like not only the bowler turns around, goes, what the heck, and like everyone around you also goes like, what the heck was that? That could have been a strike ball. Ended up just being weird shave off. Here's a 10. Or we will be over 100 at least. 102 and 9. Whiffed on the strike. 1-6-9-10 on the first ball. Let's shoot for the spare before we close out this stream. I thank you for watching. Do consider there's a spare for Parker Bone. We'll have 1 extra bonus ball. Do consider my Massholes raffle ticket offer. Check out the description for info. We'll show the try to show the graphic before we close out this morning on this Friday, October 24th. 112 and a bonus for Parker Bone. Again, this is largely my IRL average, so I don't know if that's a good or bad omen. That's an interesting fill. That's a 5 fill. 117 for Parker Bone. All right, so that should, I think I'll be willing to basically call that just about good for today. So I want to thank you for watching the stream. I'll show you the graphic once again for the Massholes raffle tickets. If you want to Venmo me digitally or find me physically, just be sure to do it before Worlds begins. We have about another week and some change. I'll be at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire at least 2 more times before then. And I think I also got to get a roll-off in, 2 more roll-offs in. Yeah, I got to do a lot of prep before we go up there. But yeah, so do consider my raffle ticket offer if you're interested. All proceeds support the team. I know we'll feel just fine and dandy, and love you forever if you want to do that. So do check all that stuff out. Anyways, folks, I've been Steve Kelly for 3-Ball Spare for this kind of off-the-cuff stream of PBA Pro Bowling 2026 in its pre-release form. Want to again thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. I'll be streaming again tomorrow and have some content up for you. Either if it's not here on YouTube at first, it will be on the Atlantic Candlepin Single Store page on Facebook. Regardless, afterwards, I'll make sure it makes its way to this YouTube channel. Depending on the stream setup, sometimes the ACST Facebook page lets us stream to it, but if someone's already got it, we got to defer to other options. So that's when I go to the YouTube channel here. So